These were the last two that we shot. This is the 22 Classic. This is the identical gun, only it's in caliber 177. Both fairly easy to manipulate and maneuver. They fit my hands really well, actually. Very comfortable for me. My trigger lays right along, my trigger finger rather lays right alongside, and very comfortable. And not very heavy. I don't know what the weight is, a couple pounds. Comfortable. Same for the 22, that's 177. Same for the 22. Now, both of these guns are bone stock, and there's a lot of things that are wrong with that. One, this hinge pin here, I'm going to be replacing that with a heavier pin, stainless steel pin. I may also replace the rear sights. Not sure about that yet. I have another gun that I've replaced both the front and the rear with the fiber optic. But that also has a much longer barrel, and that's convenient. So we'll see. I have another two of these 22s. I love this gun. These guns are great for all-around target, blinking. You can get up to quite a bit of power. I don't take it above 10 pumps, but a lot of people do. 10 pumps is the recommended maximum. I shoot mostly at around 4 to 6 pumps, 300-400 feet per second. I'm shooting at 30 yards back here, and 4 to 6 pumps easily gets you accurately on target at that distance. And we'll be doing a little bit of shooting here in a minute down there, just with these guns, just to see how they do accuracy wise on, I'm just shooting these hanging targets. Now this Humorex, on the other hand, performance between these guns is fairly similar. This gun, the last one we just did, that really surprised me. Let me grab that paperwork. This is the H9A. I've had this gun for a long time, actually, and I'm getting a little bit of copper falling there, and I don't know why that would be. Anyway, that might be Loctite too. This is the H9A. Very compact, fairly heavy gun, very solid. All wood, all metal. I don't think that's metal. I think this is also, yeah, I think everything about this gun is metal. Yeah, I've had this for a long time. One of the most accurate guns that I have, too, accurate pistols. Maybe the most accurate, this one is. This is the oldest one. This thing is 20, 30 years old, maybe. These Classics, I have another one. I love the Classic. Feels good, very comfortable, fits my hand perfectly. Everything about this gun for me is pretty good. These sights are but they work, and it's a rough system. You have a screw in here. You can loosen that screw and you can slide it back and forth this way, or you can actually rotate it on the screw too if you want to do that. And that's it's got a little graduation thing right here that you might be able to use, but it's not very but you can get yourself on target with this thing fairly easy. And now I'm going to be replacing the breech and the sights on this gun, and the barrel as well on this gun. I also am going to be replacing the sights on this. Now I painted this gun yellow, and I've got the front sight on this one painted white, just so you can see it against the background. Also I can tell which gun is which. Yellow is the 177. This plastic breech doesn't hurt anything, but it doesn't help anything either. You can't mount anything to it. The steel breech, if you were inclined, and this is why I don't use this optic, so I'm not in a big rush to do it. And these, as long as I can get on target with these, line up the front sight and the notch here, you don't need anything really fancy. Fancy makes it easier to adjust for minute corrections that you have to make at the target, which I shoot at 30 yards. A lot of people shoot at 10 to start with. I think probably starting at 10 is a really good idea, actually. I just have it there and lazy maybe, so I just start everything, and I might take a chair like I did earlier out there at 15 or 20 yards and shoot at a target to see what that might be like. This is the Umeric strike point. Very similar performance to the Classic. The 4 pumps with this was 331. 4 pumps with the Classic was 352, 358. 6 pumps was 382 on this, 411 on the Classic. 8 pumps was 411 on this, 452 on the Classic. 10 pumps on the strike point was 430 and 429. Classics and the H9A. The H9A was the closest. At 10 pumps it was 436 and 443. 10 pumps, which is 10 pumps on this, was 430. Well, between the H9A and this one, they're very similar actually. 430, 436, 411, 415, 382, 383. Oh, okay. So, well, that's quite interesting. These two guns are almost identical, speed-wise or velocity-wise, pump for pump. 4 pumps 365, 4 pumps 338, 6 pumps 382, 6 pumps 383, 8 pumps 411, 8 pumps 415, 10 pumps 430, 10 pumps 436, 443. I'm sorry, 429. So these two are a great matchup with each other. These start getting into a class all their own. 50 feet per second, almost across the board. Greater velocities on both of them. I have another one in the house that has a larger valve and larger ports. I was fussing around with that yesterday. That one, it gets over 500 when you get into the 10 and 12, 15 pump regime. So, my thoughts on these guns. I don't have a lot of experience with a lot of different guns, and very little experience with other Crossman or other pistols actually. But I do have a fair amount of time behind Classics and the H9A. I've got 50 years behind this gun. I don't know about that gun exactly, but that or another one similar to it. Got a lot of experience. I've got 1 or 2 years experience with these Classics, and very comfortable, very fairly ergonomic for me. I have fairly large hands. Fits perfect. Pad on my finger. I don't like. Some people like to wrap their finger on the trigger. I try not to. I do sometimes by accident, like this for example. But very accurate, and very rudimentary sights, but they do the job. At least they do the job out to 30 yards. And so if you're getting into air gun shooting and you're interested in a pistol, there are lots of pistols out there that I've not tried, lots of different types. These are the only ones that I have experience with. The very first one that I got was this. Very old gun, pulled to cock. Basic, solid gun, accurate as all get out. This gun has actually withstood the test of time, because when it comes to a pellet gun, or any kind of a gun actually, what matters is, can you aim it at something and hit what you aim at? And these clearly do. And this one better than the rest actually right now. But there is a weak point on these, and that is this pin. And I have another Classic. I've replaced the pin from Melanair, I think is where I got it. I'm going to be replacing the pins on both of these guns as well. I have another breech for this one, a steel breech. I don't have the rear sight for it yet. I haven't decided what I want as far as the rear sight, so I'm not going to do anything with these until I get that stuff. That's the Crossman, in my opinion. I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy that likes to shoot, but I shoot a lot. Both of these guns are fairly close in performance, fairly close in accuracy. This gun is quite accurate, but what I have a real problem with is this shroud. There are certain conditions where the shroud gets in the way of your shot. When it gets darker, when you have a dark background, like I have that dark pellet trap back there, it's black. This is not your friend. The fiber optic is. That makes it pretty handy, and I'm glad that it's there. I had to paint the front sights on both of these guns in order that you could even see the target. Classic, you know, Crossman's been around longer than anything. I don't know why they don't think of this stuff ahead of time, but you know, they don't. This gun is Star Wars-ish. Not a very, I mean, the trigger is okay, but it's just, you know, had they just made a regular round trigger, it would have been much better. I don't use optics, but if anybody does use an optic, I did see a rail that somebody had super glued on here. I don't know if they anchored it with a small screw or something as well, but they super glued a rail on here so that they could put an optic on here. I've been fortunate. I can still shoot with my eyes right now. Um, but that's not going to last forever. And then the question is, will I be able to do something with a pair of glasses and see the target? These are reading glasses. I might be able to actually do that with this. A couple of doves right there. Likely with my reading glasses I can make this work, but shooting glasses would be the more appropriate. This is a heavy gun. I was looking at a video about this the other day. Gentleman does a fair, forgot his name, but he nailed it when he said that you know, the mechanics of this thing are all up front. And but you know, for me, and it might be just because my hands are bigger, you know, it's not that I don't have a problem holding this. Maybe somebody with smaller hands or a smaller frame might. Well, significantly heavier than the Classic. Now, okay, these two are very similar in weight. No, the strike point's still heavier, but this is getting close. You know, rust around here is the bane of firearms around here. Let me just do a little cleanup of this. Paradise. All these little things you got to stay ahead of. Anyway, strike point, good gun. I got it just to see. I shoot it, it's 22. I like 22 better than 177. But, well, I'll tell you, lightweight, accurate, easy on the trigger, easy to pump. Really difficult to find something that's a better value for the money. You know, there's many other air guns out there that I've never even seen, heard of, or touched. But I have touched these. I love it. It's easy to shoot. Fits perfectly. Balances well. This is heavy, a little unwieldy, accurate. But these two, hard to beat. And the performance of the Classic outshines all the rest. Although the H9A, when I say all the rest, I'm talking about all the current rest. This still is the power leader. This gun puts out more feet per second than all of these guns. So, you know, harder to pump, trigger's a little different, you know, loading mechanisms are way different. But performance-wise, this old gun has all three of these beat hands down, pump for pump, and an overall power. So that's it. We're going to take a few shots now at the target, and you see how accurate these guns are on a target. So with that, gentlemen, we will get started.